friends have made the printing. Today, June the 20th, is United Nations World Refugee Day. And all Latinos in the Nordic countries meet in Stockholm to discuss and exchange the problem of migrants and refugees. And I was supposed to be in Stockholm talking at the situation of refugees in Denmark. But I got a message from Katrine, and it's difficult to say to Katrine no. So I was happy that she asked me to be here. Upset, so full, worried, but it was impossible. Oh, she's always smiling. I have just written a book about Astrid Noack. It's the lady there. Great Danish artist who make sculptures. And the problem with Astrid Noack is the opposite. It's impossible to get a picture of her when she's smiling or laughing. For her, this is the first book in English. All publications are in Danish. So I'm very happy about it. And then the title is a little tricky. I have different versions, but at the end I say, okay, I let it open. I am a visual poem, I like ambiguity, so you put the words you want there between the L and the E. Katrine. I have been asking many people who know you, know your family, know your husband, know your children, people who knows about you, about your relation, your work, your role as a researcher, a teacher, or things like that. And I have grouped all these comments, and then you can see this is in creativity we call it a mind map. And then you have characterizes a person who is breaking boundaries, listening, take care. I won't go through all this because otherwise I will stay there for 2 hours. But as you are a facilitator of knowledge, not a teacher in traditional, but you are just putting emphasis in education as freedom, empowerment, decolonizing minds, and social, all these things. And you're a very solidaric person. This is why this is why I like you and I love you. Your solidarity with oppressed peoples is fantastic. And I want to use the word pareisia in Foucault terms. And pareisia means the obligation to say the truth. It doesn't matter what it costs. You can be in jail, you can be punished, you can be tortured, but always tell the truth. And you are courageous, and at the same time a lovable person. Somebody says she's a very lovable person. and the context love, my goodness. Is your husband here? No. Okay, this is just a way of, I like to do that because it's a way you know, as migrants, we are always discussing about identity. Who are we, where are we coming from? And I like this conception of identity. Tell me what you do, and then I will tell you what you are. And identity is changing all the time. When I was a young guy, I made one of these and was completely different than the one I have now, because it's a dynamic process. If this process is not dynamic, you are finished. So remember that. Next one. Art history. Carsten, you can correct me, I may something wrong. And the first thing that fascinated me as when I started working as an artist, as a painter and things like that, then I read a book about fantastic artwork, and I found this one. The Pissoir by Duchamp. And I see an interview that's made by Duchamp when he got old and says, this art community is very strange. I put this object to them, to teach them. And what they do, they take They call it a ready-made, and now it's a fantastic piece of art. They didn't refuse it, but they were not exhibited in New York at the time of the exhibition. Actually, it disappeared. The original is the only thing is left is this picture, and he didn't sign to Sham, yes, because he did not want to tell that he was the person who was making. Actually, he was not alone. It was a group. Well known was Duchamp, but there is a group of people who were working together and trying to create art that is not art, but that can become art. And this is the other thing that was thinking about this cutting the head and throwing the head out is the little mermaids. Many Danish people are very proud of this sculpture. When I came to Europe, there was in New York, the Freedom Statue. I was in Paris, the Tour de Eiffel, and I came to Copenhagen. I could not find it. Actually, it was very small. But in 1964, happens that somebody has got the head of the little mermaid. Who did it? It was treated as a case of homicide, taking the head of this sculpture. It was a dead object. The criminal squad of the police was put on the case to investigate as a criminal act, and they were going around. 2 years ago, Danish television made a program to find out who made this act. Now, the people who has made the act were dead, so no prosecution, and the story came because somebody that I know actually knew these guys who were doing this. Huh? No, that is a lie. He tried to get, as a Danish artist, who's called Jan Nash, the brother of Ascayor. He wanted to make himself very popular, and he implied, not explicitly, that it was him, and he was through some lake, and it never was found. I have to say that. The persons who made that, 2 students from Jutland, coming from Aalborg, the same town. Katrine is coming. I have never been in Aalborg, but probably I want to investigate what is going on. Let us see that the Prime Minister.
She's from Aalborg.
She's from Aalborg. Anyway, these 2 students went to the art academy, and they were very socialist. Actually, they had a background in the Communist Party, and they were very disappointed with this education. It was too elitist, too bourgeois, too conservative for their taste. And then talking together, they find out, should we make something to just an action to teach the art world in Denmark. And then they find out what they have a brainstorming, different ideas, and they find out, what about the little mermaid? We cut the head. And they went there and they cut the head. Next morning, a guy was going with the dog, and I found out the head was gone. And at that time, it was a student house in Islandsbrygge, and they were living there. Suddenly, newspapers, and it was a criminal act. So these 2 guys got a little afraid. So they took the head and put it under the bed. Or somebody else, he didn't know that the head was there. And the police had been there looking around, and they couldn't find it. At the end, they never discovered who were the persons. And when they were dead, somebody has seen that the head was thrown and is broken there in Paris. So based on that, Danish television hired a Canadian expert with a mining submarine. The guys who were searching for scenes in Titanic. They were coming to Denmark, going to the restaurant and just searching for the head. They could not find it. It was never found, and if you find the head of the little man, this is a piece of art. This is the rest of scenes. You can get a lot of money with those scenes. Okay. There have been many actions against this little mermaid. They have cut the arm. They have made some graffiti. The graffiti I love it is a racist fish. This is a very fantastic expression of this little lady. But I don't know how much time do I have. I have another story because once.
Next slide.
No, one minute. No. She's in a hurry. I need some water. And Denmark have place, and the Chinese organizers wanted the Little Mermaid there. It says Danish industry, we love the Chinese people. Okay, we make a copy of it. No. Why we make a video film so you can see online? No. The Chinese said we want the original mermaid in the exhibition. And incredible. They said yes. And the Little Mermaid was transported to China in this Danish exhibition.
For borrowed time.
Huh?
For borrowed time.
Yeah. And the problem is that there are many Chinese coming to see the Little Mermaid. There, tourists. And they take many photos of this video, no? With the China. All of them have to have a photo of it. And what clever people do, they make a video film. So online, you can see the Little Mermaid that is in China. And some Chinese, they were very funny because they have some friends in China who was making a photography of the real Little Mermaid. At the same time, they were making a photo of the screen with the Little Mermaid. It was very funny. When Chinese want something, they wait. Okay, next one.